Real life stories with Liam Johnson. Subscribe and leave a like.
And what did you expect? Foster asks his wife irritably. But you're a mother. Okay, we're both to blame, but I asked you to stay home and not work. Don't start that again, Cordelia replies to her husband, also irritated. You know I wanted to help you. What can you say, I didn't help? Foster has already toned down. Of course, Cordelia is right. They both stopped on their feet. Not only did he work 14 hours a day without weekends or holidays, but his wife also toiled. And the fact that they lost track of the boys, well, his fault is greater, no matter how you look at it. That's how they talk to each other, not for the first time. They are well-known people in the city. They are not just well-off, but rich, successful in business, definitely successful. But as parents, they are helpless, no longer coping with their 3 sons. The boys do whatever they want. When the children went astray, neither the mother nor the father remembers because it happened slowly but surely, practically without seeing their parents at home, even on weekends. They might not be there. The twins Auden and Caspian, who have already turned 18, and the younger 16-year-old Briggs grew up in the company of a nanny, a housekeeper, a gardener, and constantly changing tutors. And very soon, they realized that although these are adults, they don't have to listen to them, let alone respect them. Briggs, although the youngest, was the first to openly call the nanny, housekeeper, and elderly gardener servants. Probably one of the sons didn't remember how to properly address these people who did everything for their comfort. How many times did Cordelia, when she noticed such a lordly attitude from the children, try to stop them? How many times did she apologize for her sons? The father didn't miss it either if he saw it, but the boys only pretended to listen and continued in the same vein. The parents understood that the nanny and housekeeper would have quit long ago if not for the fact that both were the sole breadwinners in their families. Well, and they were paid a good salary. That's what kept the women. And when the boys entered the so-called teenage years, which corrects the behavior of even the most unproblematic children, that's when the sons completely lost their bearings. Cordelia, who had a sewing workshop and recently her own clothing brand, not only cherished her work, she loved it. It was a childhood dream she realized by sewing doll dresses. Only after school, Cordelia didn't have the opportunity to study, neither did Foster. But they already had each other and built their life together. Foster managed to create a successful company that builds modern office buildings both in the city and in the nearby suburbs. The company has a lot of work. Clients trust them, reviews are only good, deadlines aren't missed, and prices aren't inflated. But all this works and spins under Foster's constant control. He doesn't know what a normalized workday is, but it's worth it. There's a luxurious cottage, 2 cars for him and his wife, the opportunity for the whole family to vacation abroad. And the children have had everything they need and more since birth. Cordelia also works and earns money. Stopping her doesn't work. Modeling and sewing clothes is her everything. It seems they're doing it all for the family. But the boys grew up like this. They don't bring joy, and there's no way to be proud of them. If it's not one day, it's another surprise. Here they got into trouble, there too, and always with rudeness, with insolence. True, the sons were a bit
afraid of their father because one friend, whom the father had once taught a lesson in a practical way, well, this friend, seeing Foster doing pull-ups on the bar, stared at him and said, "Good thing my dad isn't that strong. Yours probably hits hard if he hits." The brothers laughed then. The father had never raised a hand to them, but they remembered the friend's words. And when the father, not knowing how to talk to them after another escapade, said, "I should give you a good thrashing," they imagined how fun, in quotes, it would be if the father laid a hand on them. And that restrained them a bit. The brothers got up to a lot of mischief, and the parents racked their brains on how to change the situation. For now, the father's threat helped, but only temporarily, that they wouldn't get money for their whims. Let them try how that is. And suddenly, a force majeure happened, though the brothers didn't think so at the time. They should have. On Sunday, in the second half of the day, the nanny and housekeeper left for the weekend. The gardener, who also served as a guard, was supposed to start work at 8 p.m. The parents weren't home either. They were working, as always, And although they sometimes had weekends, this Sunday it happened that Mom had to connect new equipment, and Sunday, the official day off at the sewing workshop, was the most convenient. Well, and Mom controlled the work excellently as always. And Dad had a business meeting with new promising clients. They were discussing the construction of a high-rise building for several offices. In the morning, the parents warned the sons that they would be home alone. "What, are we little kids?" Auden asked. "Everything will be fine." Whether the parents believed it or not, they left for work. And the brothers didn't get bored. They cranked up some rock band at full volume and started dancing. They didn't hear the doorbell right away, but when they did, they played rock, paper, scissors to see who would open it. It fell to Auden, and a minute later he came in with a pretty girl. She immediately introduced herself. "Hi, my name is Jaslyn." She wanted to say something else, but the brothers didn't let her. They started clowning around and singing about Natalie, oh Natalie. The girl looked at them in surprise. One of them, Briggs, already went somewhere, guessing why Auden was winking at him, and returned holding a bracelet that shocks when you press a button on the remote. Jaslyn didn't know what it was. She didn't understand at all why she was being greeted like this. Jaslyn hadn't come to visit. She immediately wanted to explain why she was there. But they already put the bracelet on her leg and started dancing around shouting some savage phrases, and they snatched Jaslyn's phone from her hands, tossing it onto the sofa in the living room. "What are you doing? I'm your English tutor." Jaslyn was scared and barely holding back tears. She realized there was no one in the house besides these guys and her. In response, she heard laughter, and then one of them said, "So you know English? Prove it. Now the bracelet will work, and you react in English."
And Jaslyn felt a shock. No, it wasn't strong, not traumatic, but noticeable and unpleasant. But much stronger was the feeling of humiliation. Why were they treating her like this? Jaslyn didn't even guess that the three brothers were habitually showing off, knowing nothing would happen to them for it. Or if it did, they were used to it, as long as they weren't punished financially. Jaslyn managed to say that she would definitely tell her father. He's not the last person in the city and won't leave it like that. And she got laughter in response. The guys interrupted each other, laughing in her face, shouting that they have a father whom everyone fears, and they hurried one ahead of the other to show their bravado. They forced Jaslyn to go to the kitchen to make them real English tea, and for good measure, clicked the remote. Jaslyn felt the unpleasant tingling again. That's how the electric current worked. And then she burst into tears loudly. But that only stopped the brothers for a second. They were getting into it. There was still time before the parents came home to bully this beauty. So what if she's an English tutor? The parents will find another one for them. How Jaslyn made the tea, she doesn't remember. Offense and fear choked her. She realized that this trio was outdoing each other, and what else might come into their heads was unknown. And no phone, it stayed with the guys. And Jaslyn's premonition didn't deceive her. One of the brothers, Auden, didn't drink the tea, but approached her and hugged her tightly, then let his hands roam. And her slightest attempt to resist was stopped by a shock. That's how the other two brothers showed their solidarity with Auden. What it all would have ended in is unknown, but then the father of these guys came in. He first stopped as if in a stupor. Foster no longer had illusions that he had sons he wasn't ashamed of, but he didn't expect such mockery of a girl. He literally pushed his sons aside, removed the bracelet from Jaslyn's leg, and started apologizing to her. Foster said that this wouldn't go unpunished for them. Then he escorted Jaslyn to the car he had come home in for some document and asked the driver to take the girl home. Then he gestured for his sons to come to the living room and there saw the phone, the one they took from Jaslyn. He dialed the last number she had called to say that she forgot her phone at his house. Judging by how the number was labeled, he was calling the girl's father. The phone was picked up quickly and the man froze. He recognized the voice of his potential partner, with whom he really wanted to collaborate, but he didn't have time to show anything. That one hung up. And half an hour later, Jaslyn's father arrived, just when Foster was calling to find out how to return the phone. Jaslyn had come home and obviously told her father everything herself. Her father rushed over and went to Foster's.
Jaslyn was completely different. Her parents were proud of such a daughter. She finished school excellently, entered university on a scholarship, finished her first year excellently too. She never demanded anything, and now she wanted to do an internship independently. She posted an ad on a website that she provides tutoring services. Jaslyn was studying at the Faculty of Foreign Languages in the English group, and although her parents objected, saying it would be better to go to the sea and rest, Jaslyn insisted, and Foster responded to that ad. He was just looking for a new tutor for the guys and gave the girl the address, but he forgot to warn the kids. And Jaslyn remembered and was there on the appointed day like clockwork. And what does she get? Ending up in the house of a man respected in the city. Only now they might not respect him because he's Jaslyn's father. Connect the police and make sure these three big loafers, idlers, insolents get what they deserve. Cordelia caught the end of this conversation. She had already returned from work. She just stood there, leaning against the doorframe. Foster realized his wife was holding on with her last strength. He was afraid Cordelia would feel bad now. The brothers got scared too, and probably only now realized what they had done. What would happen to them now? The pause that hung in the living room seemed like eternity to everyone, except Jaslyn's father. The guest broke the silence. He said, "I respect you, Foster. I know you're completely different. And here's what I propose. I won't involve the police, but you must give me your heroes for re-education. They will work at my house after school and on weekends. Give me the phone numbers of their homeroom teachers so I can keep track of how they're studying. They work conditionally for a month, just when my housekeeper and 2 yard helpers get vacation. Well, if they mess up or think to rebel, the term will be extended. And here will be the principle, one for all. Excellent method. I tested it on myself when at their age I got into bad company. A former military man helped me. That's how he re-educated me. Think about it, but there are only 2 options.
Police or labor therapy. They settled on the second. The guys even rejoiced, well, at least without police. And there on site, they won't be laborers or slaves. They didn't attack the right people and miscalculated. The re-education went within the agreed frameworks, nothing extra, but no slacking and no shortcuts without a fine. It didn't go without extending the labor therapy for another month due to Auden and Briggs' fault. And how angry the brothers were, but there was no way back. And somehow it eased up on them. They started feeling ashamed, especially in front of Jaslyn, who always greeted them and didn't remind them what scoundrels these brothers had been. And then came the day when their parents came for them. Jaslyn's father invited them. He said, "I have no complaints or claims. They worked conscientiously. Well, the workers probably have a bunch of complaints and indignations, but I won't listen to them." And suddenly Auden said, "We have no complaints either. And we want to apologize. We wanted to for a long time. And thank you for setting our brains straight. We thought here, what if someone treated our mom like that? And in general, forgive us. And parents, forgive us. As we said in childhood, we won't do it anymore. It's disgusting to us ourselves."